Hi, I'm Corey from RCR Horsemanship, and today I'm going to show you how I build a team of Liberty horses with my seasoned horse June and my new horse Utah. Let's get started. All right, the first thing that I need to do before I team my horses is I need to warm both of my horses up beforehand individually to make sure that they have good connection with me, that they're listening, they're focused, and that all the buttons that I need are there. So if you've watched my Intro to Liberty series, I have the first 5 pieces to start Liberty. And that'll get you kind of to these first few maneuvers. But the biggest thing that I need for a horse to be able to be ready to team is they need to be able to target my shoulder as the place that they want to keep their head. So that's the biggest thing that I'm going to work on. Excuse the tractor in the background. That's going to be the biggest thing that I'm going to work on when I'm warming him up, is that he's going to keep his nose at my shoulder, because I'm going to then teach him to do the same thing for the other horse. So we're going to go ahead and good. Yes. Good. And I'm going to practice this on both sides. Make sure that he's confident with all of my cues. I already warmed up June, and she's my more experienced horse, so she doesn't need as much of a warm-up because she has been teamed before. But Utah is my less experienced horse that's teaming for the first time. Good. Yes. Very nice. So I want to make sure that he can stay by my shoulder real nice. We're going to have a direction change. Stay by the other shoulder. Yes. And as you can see, Utah is a very connected horse. He really is looking for that instruction, looking for the connection. And so I actually think he's going to team really nicely with June. Yes. Beautiful. Good job, bud. And then if I want him to team, I need to make sure I also have normal Liberty circles. Good example, he got distracted. So we'll go back to our foundation, controlling the direction. He's just a little show off. You're so handsome. Yes, you are. All right, we'll catch the eye here. Now, one mistake that a lot of people make is when their horse disconnects like that they'll stop what they were doing. Yes. And that's just going to teach your horse to run away and come back. So that was a great example of my horse disconnecting and how I bring him back, but I bring him back into that circle and go right back to what I was doing, so I can make it more desirable to be in that circle and less desirable to be on the outside of the round pen. Wait for a little bit better connection here. Yes. Good boy. He's drooling. Says those treats are just so delicious. Like a dog. You're like a big puppy dog. Good boy. So I gotta make sure that these circles, that he's confident in them, that he's connected, because it's gonna be a lot harder to stay connected when there's another horse in there that's a bit more distracting. Yes. So I want to make sure that he's very confident before I jump into adding another horse into the equation. Good. Good. Make sure I've got some direction changes. Good. Wait for a little more connection. Yes. Thank you. Good boy. And I also want to make sure I can go from this Liberty circle to the shoulder. and back out to a Liberty circle because he needs to be able to do both simultaneously while he's teaming. He needs to be at the shoulder of the other horse while also listening to my Liberty cues in the circle. Good boy. Yes, very nice. So at first he thought I was going for a direction change, but, gosh, you were drooling a lot. At first he thought I was going for the direction change, and I just corrected that, and he wasn't too put off by that, which is good. It's a good sign. And I should be able to go out to a Liberty circle, not a direction change. There you go. Then back to the shoulder. Good, much better, yes. Beautiful. Whoops. There you go. Good. Yes, good. And I also need to make sure he's got a really good recall. And once my horse is nicely warmed up, then I will go grab the second one. All right, now that I have both of my horses warmed up, I'm gonna go ahead and try to start teaming them. So just like when I start Liberty in the first place, so like I said, if you've seen my Intro to Liberty tutorial, you'll recognize these steps. But just like when I start a horse at Liberty, I need to first have recall. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm taking my more experienced horse here and I'm gonna give her a stop and stand cue, and I'm gonna drive Utah around. And then when I ask him to come in, I'm gonna ask him to come in on this side of her, so her left side. Once they're together, they both are gonna get a reward. I might give June rewards as I'm going around her just to reinforce that her stop and stay is really good. But once they are in a team and I'm using positive reinforcement, I have to look at my team as being one horse. So they win together and they lose together. I don't want to reinforce one and not the other, because that could cause tension between the teams. So they're going to win as a team and they're going to lose as a team. So I'm going to go ahead and split Utah off. Now this is only their second time being in the round pen together. Off you go. Come on, bud. I'm gonna drive him around. I gave June her stop and stay cue, and I'm gonna drive him around her. Now, if your horse doesn't have as good of a stop and stay as June does, then you can just have another person hold your horse. And you can see Utah, he did this one other time, so he actually does know what I'm asking here, yes. And you can see that he really wants to come in and be next to her, which is great. So when I team two horses, I'm gonna pick a side that they're each gonna be on, because as I grow the team, I want them to be able to stay in a nice line. So that first thing that I'm gonna do is teach them which side they're gonna be on. August already teams with June on this side, so I'm putting Utah on the other side, and he really wants to roll. I'm putting Utah on the other side. Good, yes. So that I could eventually team them as a group of 3. And I'm gonna keep stating this, but they're gonna win as a team, they're gonna lose as a team. So when I feed them treats, they both get treats every time, so they both better be doing things really well. And I kind of look at them as being one horse. So I'm gonna see if Utah will do that exercise again. I'm gonna send him off. Ooh. Ooh, girl. Utah off. June. Ooh, good. Focus on him for a second. June, I said, whoa. Ooh. And I'm going to try to drive him around. And he's probably going to start looking for that spot. No, sir. So control the direction, going back to all of those steps, those original 5 steps, controlling his direction. I'll give June a little cookie for being so good. And then when I call him in, I'm gonna try to call him in to her left side. So I'll ask him to come around. Yes, right into place. Beautiful, Utah. And then they both get a cookie for being so good. for the next step, I'm gonna put a halter on the horse that is more seasoned. If both my horses are in the same place in training, I'm just gonna pick one to teach the teaming to, and then I'm gonna switch, put the halter on the other and team the other one. I'll likely do this for the two of them at some point anyway, but June is a pretty good, solid teamed horse, so I think that she's gonna pick this up pretty quickly. But what I'm gonna do is I have one on a halter so that I don't have to worry about this one running off when I have to correct that one. And I'm gonna ask this one off, and I'm really focusing on that inside horse. And the goal is that that outside horse should stay with the inside horse. If he's lagging, then I can kind of tap him and say, just get up a little closer to her. There you go. There. Yes, good. And this is gonna be the start of teaching my Liberty circles to the two horses. So in the same way that Utah already targets my shoulder, I want him to target June's jaw pretty much so that they can move together as a team. Like I said, this is their second session together. June, move off a little more. Good. Good team. You can see that June feels like she's getting pushed around by him a little bit. Good. Yes. And I'm going to address that pushing around in just a minute, but I need them to understand that they want to stay together, and this is a great way to do that. And this is an exercise that I'll come back to if my team is struggling to stay together. I'll come right back to this exercise, put one on the halter, and make sure that they understand how to stick together again. Come on. Come on, June. Good girl. Easy. So I'm gonna ignore that little tussle. Now, one thing that I am gonna do is make sure that my horses know each other pretty well. These horses are penned together, but they're not used to moving with each other. And they have to learn that their herd dynamics don't apply to teamed work. Good. So they're not gonna get rewarded for that. And they're gonna have to learn to work together. Yes. And when they're working together nicely, then they will get rewarded and it'll be far more relaxing. So that stuff will start to go away as they start to learn that their herd dynamics don't really matter in here. So he's gonna get corrected here. He's gonna learn that that's not the way to do things. Good. This is also why I have one on the halter, so that I can make these corrections without risking losing the one that I have here. Good. And just like before, I want to go right back to what we were working on. Good girl, June. So if I have to call him back in, I will, and then I will go right back to what we're working on. I'm not going to let him sit and stand. Good. 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 Don't be mean. Yes. It is okay if they're giving each other a little bit of space. It actually will help them work off of a bubble between each other. I will want them to be a little closer than they were, but I was pretty pleased with where they were at that point for being a new team. Yes. Good. Shh, shh, shh. No? So he has to learn that when she pushes into him, that he has to actually give to her pressure the same way that he gives to mine. He is higher on the pecking order, so I don't think that he likes that she's pushing into him, but he will learn pretty quickly. And we're gonna do an exercise here in just a second that'll help with that. Good. Utah. So you see if he gets a little too far away, I just send him back into his spot and we try again. Yes, very good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move on now that he kind of understands where he's supposed to be. I'm gonna move on to our next exercise, which is I want them to be able to side pass as a team so that they learn to move off of each other's pressure. So I'm gonna get them settled. I'll ask him to side pass into her. Good. Ooh. Now you can see that she automatically wanted to side pass because she is used to having another horse pushing her back and forth, and she's used to pushing other horses back and forth. So it's probably going to be a little bit more seamless when I ask him to side pass. Yes, good. And she knows to nicely move off of that. This side might be a little tougher, but I'm going to ask her to side pass, move into him. And once they both move off, see, she's trying to move into me to get away from him. When they both move off of this, I'm going to reward them. Yes, good. They created a little bit of space. Good. And then they get rewarded. Shh, 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 shh. Good. No, no. I like having this lead rope right now because she is trying to get away from him. By moving forward, yes. And having that lead rope is helping me connect, connect with her and communicate with her that I want her to stay next to him, stay back just a little bit from me. Good. No. We've been practicing a lot of targeting, so she's trying to target the whip. Well, we're just going to ignore that because that's not what we're working on right now. Good. Yes. So by working on that side pass really early on in the training, it'll help them understand how to push against each other and stay in that team. But as you can see, as I'm teaming them, the first thing I'm doing is working with them as a side-by-side pair. I'll work on splitting them later and doing independent things another time, but I want them to always be seeking out each other's side. That way it's really easy to pull my team together. If we're starting to get disconnected, we can just go back to this and we've got a nice solid foundation to work with them on. Good. Don't eat the whip. Yes, there we go. All right, now that we've done a few steps and we have a foundation laid, we're just gonna see what we can do with them as a team, and maybe you'll see a few corrections that I'll give, and hopefully we have a little success. So I'll just show you a little bit. I'm gonna start by seeing if Utah can be on the inside. Here, June, good. Asking June to be on the outside. She says, I thought I'm supposed to be on the other side. That's with the other horse. Good. Come on, June. Yes. Good job, guys. So it's not perfectly pretty and tight, but I'm actually really pleased. They're both staying pretty connected. There's a lot of effort. So I'm really happy with that so far. Good team. Here, June. Good. Yes, very nice, you two. Good team. Very good. And when I am changing directions with a team, if I'm going from a Liberty circle, I'm going to have to move my feet a lot because it's kind of like I have one big horse rather than, having a smaller horse. So when I go for a direction change, in your spot, please, mare. Come on. Good. When I go for a reverse switch, I'm gonna have to walk a lot more to get around the two horses. June, back to your spot, please. Good. That is your spot. Very nice. And I'll just have her come to my shoulder, try to gain some confidence. All right. We're going to push them as a team and then try to draw them back in. Not a big deal. Catch the eyes. Very good. June, you were correct the first time. You're on the other side, sweetheart. Good. Try again. Nicely, please, you two. Utah. Try again. Notice that I really work hard to not get too worked up by their mistakes. I don't want them to have diminished confidence because I get worked up or I get defeated. This is new to them and this isn't easy. And so they're gonna have to work it out. And the best thing that I can do is try to bring that temperature down by staying calm. Good. Now they're having a hard time having Utah on the outside. So one thing I might do, if I'm really struggling with a horse that is pushing on that outside, is I might put myself between the two of them and try to do some liberty with one on each side to teach them how to give each other space. Come on, Utah. Good. Come on, Utah. Good girl, June. Yes. Thank you for the offer. Good. That's better, you two. Good. All right, we're gonna try to put her at my shoulder. All right, when I draw them back in, I'm gonna try to get June at my shoulder, and I'm gonna focus more on her and then see if I can get Utah to come back around. June. June. She says, I don't really like it. Good. I want to focus on her being at my shoulder. And if he would like to join, then they're going to get rewarded. I keep stepping on my whip today. Be nice, you two. There, nice and easy. I'm gonna just try to get June back here. Utah's hogging me right now. He wants to be with me and doesn't want June to be involved. Good girl. I'm more focused on you right now. Better. I'm just gonna try to teach him to give her a little bit of space. There, that's nice. Yes. All right, we're gonna take that. All right, I think I'm gonna work with them for a little while because you guys have seen the process, and we'll come back and show you how I'm gonna end the session. All right, so what I have just been working on is just really getting them to understand how to move, really let June move into Utah and that they can move together as a team. Yes. And I think they're starting to get the hang of it. I'm actually really pleased with this as a first session, that I think we're gonna end in a spot where they're feeling pretty comfortable. So I'm starting these circles out with June kind of pushing into Utah and just establishing that idea. Yes. And it's not perfectly buttoned up or anything, but the fact that they're working together nicely, I really like that. Get them back side by side. Good. Ooh. And then I'll see if we can do the same thing on the other side. Good. June, don't get ahead of yourself. June. I'm using a bit of a funneling method here to just kind of create a barrier between the two of them so that they don't, the outside horse doesn't run off and get too far ahead of the other one. Good. Come in together a little more. There you go. Easy, June. Easy, June. Get back together. Good. There you go. There you go. Yes. There. I like that. So for a first session, this is actually quite a bit for the two horses. Sometimes I might just leave it as doing the work with the one in the halter and one not in a halter. I might switch between which horse is wearing the halter. But for a second session with these two, I am super pleased with where we've gotten. So I think we're gonna end it there. I might work on laying down with them together as a team, but other than that, I'm gonna call that a day for them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helps give you a little bit of insight on how to team two horses. If you like the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.